Have you ever thought about the invisible force that resides in the objects that surround us? Every single object that we touch, wear, or carry with us emanates and absorbs energies, like a silent dialogue between the material and spiritual worlds. Accepting objects from others can have significant consequences on our well-being, opening doors to energies that can profoundly influence our lives, for better or for worse. If these questions have intrigued you, this story will reveal 9 things to never accept from anyone. Get ready to discover how to protect your inner peace and emotional balance, and embark on a journey to discover the hidden energy that surrounds us. But before continuing, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. Shozo, a venerable monk with a white beard and wise eyes, was known for his profound understanding of life and the energy that permeates it. One day, as his disciples surrounded him in the quiet monastery garden, Shozo began to speak about the importance of discerning the energies of objects. Every object we accept carries with it an energetic history, a reflection of the experiences and emotions of its owner, he said in a calm, deep voice. There are 9 objects we should avoid accepting, as they can profoundly affect our energy and our spiritual path. Mirrors. Mirrors are portals to our inner being, capable of reflecting not only our image, but also the joys, fears, and deepest desires of those who have possessed them. Shuzo explained, they can hold the energies of those who have looked upon them, becoming silent witnesses to past lives and repressed emotions. He told of a young monk who, upon accepting an ancient mirror that had belonged to a noble woman tormented by a life of unhappiness, began to have strange visions and to feel overwhelmed by a deep sadness and melancholy. Another disciple recalled the story of a young girl who, after receiving a mirror as a gift from an envious friend, began to notice a change in her self-perception, feeling constantly inadequate and insecure. Salt. Salt is a sacred element in many cultures, capable of absorbing and retaining the energies of those who touch it. Shuzo said, accepting it can also mean welcoming negative or heavy energies, which can affect our emotional balance, our health, and even the harmony of our relationships. He recalled a cook who, after accepting salt from an unknown traveler with a heart full of anger and resentment, began to feel inexplicably anxious and agitated while cooking, and his once delicious and appreciated dishes began to lose their flavor and vitality. An elderly woman among the disciples told how, after accepting salt from a gossipy and malicious neighbor, she began to notice an increase in tension and conflict within her family. Used mattresses. Mattresses are silent witnesses of our nights, absorbing the energies of sleep and dreams, the worries and hopes that accompany us in the dream world. Shuzo warned, sleeping on a used mattress can mean immersing oneself in the residual energies of its owner, which can disturb our rest, influence our dreams, and even carry with them traces of illnesses or energy imbalances. He told of a monk who, after accepting a used mattress from a merchant afflicted by nightmares and night terrors, began to suffer from insomnia and to have disturbing dreams, populated by the same dark and threatening figures that tormented the previous owner. Another disciple recalled the story of a young couple who, after purchasing a used mattress, began to experience inexplicable back pain and muscle tension, only to discover that the mattress had belonged to an elderly person with chronic health problems. Used wallets. Wallets are custodians not only of money, but also of the financial and emotional energies of their owners. Shuzo said, accepting a used one can affect our prosperity, our relationship with money, and our ability to attract abundance into our lives. He recalled a merchant who, after accepting a used wallet from a friend in financial difficulty, began to experience a series of unfortunate events, financial losses, and a constant sense of worry about money. Another disciple told of how, after finding an abandoned wallet and deciding to keep it for herself, she began to notice a change in her attitude toward money, becoming more stingy and materialistic. Used pots and pans. These utensils are tools of transformation capable of absorbing the energies of those who use them and transferring them to the food we prepare. Shuzo explained, accepting them can affect not only the taste of the food, but also the emotions and intentions we harbor while cooking, which can be absorbed by the ingredients and transmitted to those who will consume the meal. He told of a cook who, after accepting an old frying pan from a relative with a bad temper and a negative disposition, began to notice that her once delicious and harmonious dishes had acquired a bitter and sharp taste, and that people who ate them often felt irritated or agitated after the meal. Another disciple recalled the story of a man who, after inheriting the pots and pans of his grandmother, a loving and generous woman, began to notice that her dishes had a particularly comforting and familiar taste, and that people who ate them felt nourished not only in body, but also in soul. Religious or spiritual items used. These items carry deep, sacred energies, tied to the prayers, meditations, and intentions of their possessors. Shuzo said respectfully, accepting them can affect our connection to the divine, our spiritual path, and our ability to access higher states of consciousness. He told of a devotee who, accepting a rosary used by a friend tormented by doubts and internal conflicts, began to experience a profound crisis of faith and to feel distant from his spiritual practice, as if the negative energies of the previous owner had dimmed the light of his faith. Another disciple told of how, after receiving a Buddha statuette as a gift from an enlightened spiritual master, she began to experience profound inner peace and greater mental clarity during meditation. Jewelry and sentimental objects. These objects are imbued with emotions and memories, tied to the people who own them and the experiences they shared with them. Shuzo said with a hint of nostalgia in his eyes, accepting them can mean accepting the weight of these emotions and memories, which can affect our state of mind, the way we relate to the past, and even our ability to create new bonds and happy memories. She told of a young woman who, upon inheriting a ring that belonged to her grandmother, began to feel overwhelmed by a deep sadness and nostalgia, intensely reliving the loss of her beloved grandmother and feeling trapped in a painful past. Another disciple told how, after receiving a pocket watch as a gift that belonged to his grandfather, a courageous and determined man, he began to feel more confident and motivated to pursue his dreams, as if his grandfather's energy was guiding and supporting him. Used books. Books are portals to imaginary worlds and profound knowledge, but they can also absorb the energies and emotions of their readers, leaving invisible traces between the pages, Shuzo explained. Reading a used book can mean immersing yourself not only in the story told, but also in the emotions and thoughts of those who have read it before us, which can influence our interpretation of the text and even our state of mind. He told a scholar who, after reading an ancient philosophy book that belonged to a tormented thinker, began to question his beliefs and feel overwhelmed by existential doubts, as if the book's words had awakened in him the same anxieties as its previous owner. Another disciple told of how, after reading a romance novel written by a happily married couple, she began to feel more open to love and to believe in the possibility of finding a life partner. Used clothes. Clothes are like a second skin, capable of absorbing the energies and emotions of those who have worn them, becoming silent witnesses of their experiences and way of being. Shoo said, "Wearing used clothes can make us feel uncomfortable, affect our mood, or even make us relive sensations and experiences of the previous owner, as if we were immersing ourselves in their life for a short time." He told of a young man who, after putting on a jacket that belonged to an adventurous and reckless friend, began to feel restless and make impulsive decisions that were out of character, as if the jacket was pushing him to live daring and risky experiences. Another disciple told of how, after putting on a dress that belonged to her mother, a strong and independent woman, she felt a sense of security and determination, as if her mother was there with her, supporting and encouraging her. Shoo concluded his teaching with a benevolent smile. "Remember, dear disciples, that we are responsible for the energies we bring into our lives. Let us choose our surroundings wisely and learn to discern the energies of the objects we accept. Be the custodians of your energy, cultivating the awareness and wisdom necessary to create a sacred and harmonious space in your life. Do not allow the negative energies of objects to influence you, but instead seek objects that vibrate at the same frequency as your soul, objects that support you on your path and help you manifest your true essence." The sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky with shades of gold and pink. The disciples, deeply touched by Shoo's words, dispersed throughout the garden, reflecting on the hidden energy of objects and the responsibility of creating a sacred and harmonious space in one's life. With renewed awareness, they began to look at the objects around them with new eyes, recognizing their ability to influence their well-being and spiritual path. They were ready to choose wisely, to surround themselves with objects that resonated with their soul, and to let go of those that carried heavy or negative energies.